Oh, it feels so good. Woo! We have a whole lake to ourselves. It's warm. Oh, it feels so good. Woo! Oh. Oh, look at these guys. Oh, a little far, a little far. Don't come on, I'm not a buoy. I'm not a life jack. Listen to this guy. Look at this guy. Ready? Ready? Go get it. Oh! They'll sacrifice me to get to the ball.
So earlier today we were looking out the window and you can see two horses up here on the hill. They look like wild horses, just kind of roaming around up on the hill up here. Having a good old time. Dark black horses. Apparently it's known to be bears out there too. People have seen bears out there before.
Another day. How's your workup going?
Fine.
We've been truly enjoying these almost like, I think we've been 5 days now. 5 days in a campsite. That's nuts. Oh, it was a great swim yesterday. And the crazy thing is aside from like the occasional person driving by, it's been so quiet. Saw an owl yesterday, saw the wild horses across yesterday. Just freaking, oh man, took a nice swim. We have this whole beautiful place to ourselves. It's kind of hard to tell, but the smoke really hasn't been bad at all. Actually, the first day was probably the worst, and it's just cleared up since. So you can still kind of smell it, but it's nothing. But yeah, we've really been doing, I would almost call it a reset. You know, out here, you know, nothing going on around us. Like you can hear just pure silence. We're in control of our lives. This is a big change. It's a huge change. You know, we're not in the middle of a city, and it's just been so nice. It's been so nice. And really, we've been getting back to like focusing on what sort of matters, you know. Because most stuff in life doesn't matter, right? I was thinking, well, I used to work for Apple for a long time, and you know, it was such a big deal when a new phone came out. And as someone who loves tech, you know, that was kind of a big deal. I mean, obviously you want to know what the new products are that you're going to be selling to somebody, but also it's kind of interesting. But I just, more and more, I've been way more content, you know, with something that works for my needs. Not focusing on what something could do or might do or should do, but what I actually use the device for, right? And I used to really want the latest and greatest in tech, and this doesn't do it for me anymore. I mean, it's kind of funny how that turns out, right? With some things we've done for a long time. We've had habits for a long time, like just not caring what people think, as evidenced by these Crocs. And I still sometimes get comments like, those are stupid shoes. I'm not going to listen to somebody who wears Crocs and this and that. And it's like, all right, well, good luck, whatever. But it is one of those things that like, I'm not going to give someone that control, right? Oh, you shouldn't wear that, so I'm just not gonna wear that, right? Like, no, if I wanna wear it, I'm gonna wear it, you know? And it's the same thing, you know, we You still get people that are like, whoa, how could you live in something so small? I couldn't do it. And they get a lot of judgment from people for living tiny. Obviously, that's not an issue for us. And it is one of those things, you know, I think we've sort of gone, the pendulum is swinging the other way, where I think there will always be a faction of people that just want the biggest and the best and, you know, the latest and the greatest and the whatever. But, you know, I think that a lot of people have realized that the more that you own, the more that you buy, right, the more it owns you. And that's some other control that I just don't want to give up. And we try to have just enough, right? Just enough that we're comfortable. And that line is different for everybody, right? So, you know, that's why I'm always hesitant to be like, this is the way, right? It's like, no, it's different for everybody. I do think a lot of us, most of us perhaps, get caught in this trap of having too much stuff we don't need, stuff that doesn't serve us, but that we serve, right? And, I don't know, it feels freeing. It feels really freeing to finally be in control of our lives, you know, again, and not just for the weekend. You know, I think a lot of people are like, well, you know, I go and do what I want on the weekend. I think if I'm always worried about having to be somewhere, having to make the most out of something, I'm not truly in the moment taking it in and enjoying my time, which is quite a precious resource, I might add. I don't think our society is really set up for people to work to a point that they can afford what they need and then, you know, work their own schedule, right? Because I think that work is important. I think that we need work. I think everybody needs purpose, truly. I think that work is good for us, you know. But at the same time, I don't know that most people work intentionally. We try to work our way up, you know, and it's always nice to make the most amount of money for the least amount of time. But I think people forget about the second component, which is time. I don't think people really own their time anymore, you know. I don't know. I think that's an easy thing to kind of overlook, let's say. Isn't this just beautiful? This lake is still. There is no air moving at all. And I think one way to be more in control of our time is not to buy stuff to impress others. You know, it's one of those things that, like, okay, if it's a tool of the trade, like, you know, whatever sure, obviously, we need those things. And we need sustenance and we need a good home and, you know, but I think some of us have this habit of buying things, you know, not only because it's cute, but what does that mean when others see us? That's a tough habit to get out of, though. It's also a tough habit to recognize, I think, you know. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. We've all seen it. We've all done it, too. Like, ooh, if I get this, you know, I'll impress somebody. But it's also, do we need to do that? Or if we were conscious of it, do we even want to do that? You know, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of times where I'm like, you know what? If I can't make a friend without that, or if I can't get a girl, you know, without X, Y, Z, well, I don't really want her in my life anyways, you know? Oh, speaking of girls, hello. Speaking of working out, Emma has been enjoying working out. And actually, being out here, I think not eating out a lot, has really helped my pain to go from like a 7 out of 10 to a, I don't know, 3, 4 out of 10. It's been nice. It's been nice. Drinking a lot more water lately. You know, I also wonder how much the news plays into a lot of this, right? And everybody wants to be prepared, but some people go way overboard. You know, and I also think some people think that the things in the, like, you guys have seen Disney adults, you know, I think a lot of people are like, oh, that's gonna make my life so good, right? It's a lot of it's shallow. There's a lot of shallow stuff out there. But, you know, I found that part of being in control of my life and my time has been for a long time. We talked about this before, but just being in control of the news that I consume. And instead using that online time to build connections and community with you guys. It's actually been really great. You know, and being intentional with my mind, right? My energy, my thoughts. And I think by doing so, I've become a much happier person. That's for sure. Actually, a great example, because I got a couple comments about people asking if we were going to quit RV living or if we were worried about the changes in laws and, you know, this and that. And frankly, honestly, I don't even click videos that look like clickbait like that. I just don't click them. But But there are some channels that I think they're genuinely concerned, some creators that are genuinely concerned and that are raising the alarm bells. But the reality is, as strange as it might seem to a lot of folks, it's not something that concerns us at all. We're not concerned. It's not going to change anything about what we do. Frankly, a lot of the laws I disagree with, but I also completely understand and I can empathize. But you hear one thing, you read one thing, and then the reality of life is not that thing. So I really think it's one of those situations that a lot of people are worried about. They're gonna get off the road, and it's like, okay, yeah, fine. If that's what you need to get out, cool, do what you want to do. But I'm not gonna let a little concern or, fear of a ticket get me down. It's not going to stop us from doing anything that we want to do, because what we're doing is not hurting anybody. It's a very different thing if we were hurting people and whatever. But it's not. It doesn't. These are the things they don't control us. And I've been trying to reflect out here. The wind is back. We had a few seconds where the water was just like glass. No, you guys do what you gotta do, and I'm sure somebody might argue with me, oh, this is gonna be the worst thing, and hey, more power to you if it's not for you, but yeah, it doesn't change a thing for me, or Emma. We just don't let fear control our lives. We really could have made a video on RV living's over, and it's illegal to live in your vehicle, and and all this, and it's just not, that's just not our style. But it would be so hypocritical to pretend to be worried about it. It would be, a lot of these things they've already been on the books for a long time. And people click those videos because they're so worried about what could go wrong and what should go wrong, or instead of what is going wrong, which is, honestly, life's pretty good. If you turn that crap off, get all that noise out of your head, and you just look around, listen, I will say that's one of the reasons that I love living on wheels, because sometimes you look around and you're like, this isn't where I want to be, or it's not where I'm meant to be, whatever it is, And that where that is changes. Sometimes you need more excitement, sometimes you feel driven to something or pulled to whatever it is. But there are a lot of times where honestly, nothing's going wrong. You're having a good time. It's just that you're up in your head about stuff that's just not there right now, So, I mean, you can do what you can do, right? And we'll take care of our health. That makes good sense. Well, case in point, actually. We'll take care of our health and we'll try to do right by other folks. And yeah, maybe a little investing would be nice. Money's always a thing. Money is always going to be a thing, but we do the best, right? And so living tiny can be a way out of those financial concerns. A lot of people don't, consciously recognize that. But it's a whole thing. And especially if you're called to somewhere that's extraordinarily expensive. Well, live tiny and there you go. But, there's a lot to it. So we just, us being in control of our, what we ingest, especially in social media, in the news, right? I don't know. It has helped a lot. And we also just focus on yourself a little more, right? And I think for us, if we can help others, that helps us in return. We try to help others, try to educate, and that's something that's important for me. That sort of feeds us. But also at the same time, we're not really worried about what other people think. We quit worrying about oh, what if somebody doesn't like us? It's like, okay, well, they don't like us. I try not to put myself in that situation, but at the end of the day, you don't get to control others. What you're wearing, and if you have the latest iPhone, and it should be the lowest on anybody's priority list, I think, in terms of judging somebody. So, it looks like we've got some clouds and maybe a little rain coming on in. But we've been here for a few days, and I think it's about time to get going. It has been just so nice. So now a little warm, but you can't beat this. So I think in the next video I think we're gonna hit the road, put a few miles on. East by northeast of us there are some fires, and so we might actually kind of go past those because they're on either side of the main road that we plan to be traveling on. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be too bad, but better to avoid those sorts of situations. However, if we were traveling about 40 miles a day, I don't expect there's too much between here and our next stop. So I think that'll be just fine, but I might go ahead and put that awning in just to be safe. Anywho, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.